Water systems in general across the country were referred to as the silent service, because as a whole it's so dependable that the only time you notice it is when it's not there. And then it's a surprise, because most of the time, vast majority of the time, it is there and it's safe.
The beach communities in the early 1900s could sink a well and hit a lens of fresh water that was sufficient for their use, both for commercial and residential. Later in the 20s and early 30s, the volume of that use increased to the point where it drew in salt water from the Gulf and the intercoastal. And they had to move to the mainland to develop wells a little bit further away from the coast. And that was the impetus for the act of the legislature in 1935 to create the Pinellas County water system.
The original customer base for that first Walsingham Reservoir-based plant was 200. That first system was about a 1.5 million gallon a day system.
Mr. Eldridge and Mr. Weil offered this property to the county for taxes and a 100-year lease to build a well field and supply Pinellas County high-quality water. And in fact, when it opened in 1955, it provided a much better quality of water than was available from wells in the Clearwater, Mid-County, Walsingham area that were also themselves beginning to experience saltwater intrusion. When I got here in the 70s, the conversion of orange groves to houses was well underway. And in fact, there were periods of the day when some of the higher elevations in the county or some of those locations further from the pumping stations got no water. I mean, they just turn on the tap, no water, couldn't flush a toilet. And that went on for 2 years. And that immediately preceded the Cypress Creek pumping station coming online in '76 that solved all of those problems.
The West Coast Regional Water Supply Authority and the member governments engaged in a discussion of how to best meet the needs of the water supply of the region in the future. In that time frame, over a number of years, it was decided that the Tampa Bay Water Supply Authority would be formed and that a regional approach would be taken in such a way that all resource producing systems like well fields and those things would all be transferred to the Tampa Bay Water Supply Authority.
We got out of the production business and we became a customer of the Tampa Bay Water, and of course we were a part of that, so we were also technical advisors, and 2 of our commissioners are on the Tampa Bay Water Governing Board. So our actual utility model, though, became a customer of another water supplier.
Right now we serve about 600,000. We're delivering on the average about 50 million gallons a day. I think the path forward is going to be looking at where we get our resources, increased reuse of the water that we have now. The target changes, but the pattern is the same. We always have to be evolving, because to stand still is to fail. And we simply will not fail in our mission to serve the citizens of Pinellas.